Hello, all my gorgeous creatures out there. Hopefully, everybody's having an amazing day. I know that I am very grateful that I woke up today. I'm really just immersing myself in gratitude whenever possible and realizing that every day is a gift that we are alive. So today I'm glad for one more day to be here, and I always want to make the most of it. I have so much to say lately. I've been busy doing a lot of amazing things for myself, moving my career forward and always continuing education and traveling and really, packing the most that I can in out of life. And I see a lot, I observe a lot. My birthday is March 29th, which is the day of the observer. And I observe far more than I comment on. And part of the reason that I started this channel was so I could connect with like-minded human beings. And if you are watching this channel, then, glad that we found each other, and I'm glad that we get to spend some time together. So I always want to make sure that I am delivering worthy content and not wasting your precious life force energy on this very, very, very short ride on this giant rock hurtling through space. Not to freak anybody out, but people live like they have 10,000 years, and the truth is we just don't know, and life goes by like that. So I just want to make sure that I'm always spending it in quality ways. So with that being said, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for a while, and that is manners. More importantly, polite conversation. So it is so rare to find human beings these days who are phrased well. More often than not, I find that I'm constantly just bewildered by most of society's behavior. And we live in a time that is really drifting further and further from truth, from morals, from their humanity. We've got kind of this like deliberate attack on anything that's wholesome or truthful or good or, just like family oriented. So I really grew up just always being taught, like it was just to a nauseating degree enforced in our home, that you have manners and respect and etiquette and grace for other people. And whether that be, table manners, polite etiquette, I was always raised to say, no ma'am, yes sir, please, thank you. It was always just ingrained in our heads when my parents were driving anywhere. Like, there were 4 of us crammed in the back seat, and they were always yelling back there like, you better mind your P's and Q's or else. And we just never wanted to find out what or else was. So it was just always driven home that manners were such a huge part of our life. No elbows on the table while you're eating dinner, chewing with your mouth closed. When somebody addresses you, you look them in the eye. When you shake hands with somebody, you look them in the eye and say, nice to meet you. My name is Adrian. That is how you greet people. And I feel like that is just something so simple is such a lost art. So I wanted to sort of just get back to the basics, and I have come across so many mutants down here in South Florida who are really just freak me out, man. And everything I'm seeing on social media, I'm just constantly scared for the next generation. I'm scared for millennials, and I'm scared for Gen Z. I just sort of don't know who are raising these creatures. So let's dive right in. The art of polite conversation. This is such a necessary skill to get you by in every single facet of life. I don't care if you're just looking to make friends, whether you're going on a job interview, whether you are going on a date, just anything you can do to facilitate further connection, true authentic connection with other human beings. Because that is the point of being alive and being a human being. In my humble opinion, I believe we are here to guide each other, to learn from each other, to express ourselves fully and authentically. And I think we are here to teach each other and ascend and evolve and grow, not just as individuals, but as a society. And the best way to ensure society's growth is to self-actualize. This means improving yourself to the highest potential that you are capable of. As a soul, you finding your passion and expressing that in all of your beautiful, gorgeous, weirdo vigor, whatever that means. But you're not going to be able to do that if you approach people like a total sewer dweller. If you crawl out from whatever rock you've been lingering under with all your weirdness and like bad hygiene and like your teeth are, coated in Cheetos and ding dongs, you're not going to be able to connect with people. You're not going to be able to express your beautiful weirdo self. You're not going to be able to see through your divine manifest, the manifestation of your divine essence. So with that being said, I thought we would just get back to the straight basics. How to have a conversation with somebody. Okay. Step 1. This should go without saying, but I have to say it. Be friendly. It's so simple. Be friendly. What a concept. Nobody's going to come up to you if you are stark raving mad and screaming at people and being hostile and shouting your weirdo political beliefs at people. Nobody's going to want to approach you. So you have to let people know that it's okay to approach you. I totally get this because when I was younger, I never smiled, like ever. And if you look at any picture of me when I was younger, it's literally just like, I never smiled. I wasn't mean. I didn't realize what my face was doing all the time. I just have always been, like I said, more of a natural observer of my surroundings. And so I've always been like taking in a lot of information at once. And it never occurred to me to fix my face and let people know that it's okay to talk to me. So recently, within the past like 10 years, my fairy godmother, as I call her, she's a good friend, a good channeler, medium who I confide in often, but she's very, very wise. She's a sweet, sweet lady, my good friend. She's in her 70s, and she told me a couple of years back, she was like, Adrienne, you need to smile. You need to let people know that it's okay to talk to you. Like, people want to talk to you. And this was right when I started playing music. So I think like most of my mental energy was just going into like not messing up the song. It was a lot for me to kind of like figure out how to play and sing at the same time. And so I sort of just had this like mannequin robotic deal going on in the beginning. And, afterward, I was just so focused on like, okay, let me just go do my thing and like get a drink afterward, and that's it. And I'm always like very happy inside, but I wasn't conveying that outwardly. So she let me know. She was like, you have to talk to people. Like, people want to come up after a show and talk to you, and you have to smile and like hug them and let them know that you're friendly and it's okay to speak to you. So I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. I do that. I suck at that, and I'm going to fix it, because my purpose, I believe, in life is to help other people. I want to express my music and hopefully uplift them and empower them to go be free to do whatever it is that you are passionate about. And how can I do that if I can't even make a simple introduction with somebody? So rather than scaring the shit out of people and making them think I'm like, I don't know, just a meanie, now I just smile, and that lets people know that yes, you can speak to me, and I am delighted to make your acquaintance. It just warms people. And even if you don't want to go around town just smiling like a blithering idiot, I get that too. Like, I don't walk around just a permagrin on my face. That's creepy. So in yoga, they say smile with your eyes, just a softening, just letting people know that you're approachable. That'll do it. And my life has transformed ever since then. So now at my shows, I pray and meditate before I go to every single gig. And I pray that I can make powerful emotional connections with people. That is my mantra, my prayer, is to give people what they need from my experience. And I used to be kind of like unintentionally selfish, where I would pray to have a great show for my comfort level. And now I pray to be able to give my whole heart to everybody. I want to give you what you need. I hope that you can come and sit and listen to me, and it inspires you in any way, shape, or form, whether it makes you laugh at my stupid dad jokes that I tell on break, or, you know, if I sing a song that means something to you, hopefully I can make that connection. So that is my intention. And it starts with being friendly. Second important way we can make polite conversations and connections. Find common ground with somebody. Find something that you have a connection with the other person, and you'll find that human beings are way more alike than we are not. Okay, and there are plenty of forces out there right now at work to deliberately divide us. There's a system in play right now, set in motion, that the only intention is division and chaos. So I say, let's defeat that the easiest way possible. Finding connection and good in other human beings. You know, you have to really be open-minded when you're going into a conversation and meeting somebody. And we're always going to have plenty of things that we disagree on. But keep in mind, too, that people change their minds all the time. So don't be closed-minded. You know, just because something isn't totally for you doesn't mean another person doesn't enjoy that. And the more connection you find with other human beings, it's going to allow them to feel safe and to let their guard down. And remember that a lot of people are awkward and have social anxiety. You know, I'm an extremely awkward human being, and you got to give people some grace, give people some room to just let them be themselves. And maybe you can be the one to extend that comfort and that energy. Focus on them. Give them space, and give them some room. You know, when you make emotional connections with somebody and you find the ways that you are similar, it's going to allow them to be comfortable and to start to trust you and to open up. And this is awesome. I've made so many connections in my life, literally just from listening to people while they talk. It's amazing. Step 3. Another way that you can be engaging in friendly conversation, this is very important. Be authentic. Be authentic while at the same time making sure that you're able to gauge a situation and read the room. I say this to my little brother probably like 1,000 times. And I'm like, hey, dude, read the room, man. He's usually telling, I don't know, goofball stories or whatever. And obviously this is just like us in our home joking and goofing around. But I'm like, dude, read the room. And he's like, oh yeah, sorry, sissy. But when I'm out in public, I want to make sure that I'm being as authentic as possible. But at the same time, if your authentic self is to just be a total jerk, then you need to check yourself, okay? You need to check your motivations. You need to leave your ego at the door. When I'm talking to somebody, if I'm talking to my grandma, I'm not going to talk to her about the death metal concert that I went to last week. I'm just not. You know, she's not interested. It doesn't mean I'm being inauthentic. It just means I'm finding common ground and where I can make that connection. We're going to talk about 100 other things that we have in common. I don't need to tell her that. There are things that, you know, just know your audience, know who you're speaking to. Be able to mirror the other person and just kind of like see where they go with it. Like, for example, if I'm going to meet a new group of people, I'm not going to swear and start doing shots of whiskey, you know? I will kind of let the other person guide me with their actions and their behavior and where they lead the conversation. Now, if I'm with someone and they casually start telling jokes and like drop the F-bomb, then I know it's a little bit more relaxed and they're comfortable with that. I kind of always let other people tell me where their comfort zone is, because I am a total out of the box, like, you know, free spirit. So I can meet you at any level. Like, we can go way down the rabbit hole if you want, Or we can keep it just very simple, and talk about the weather. I'm okay. So I'm a bit more of like a critical thinker and a complex thinker. So I can go as weird as you want with this, but it's not always appropriate, and you're not being inauthentic. You're being considerate and you're being kind. And like I said, the point of conversing with people is to make emotional connections and exchange wisdom. So make sure that you're always giving people the space and the comfort level. For example, I was out at my pool, at my condo pool, a couple weeks ago, and one of my neighbor's friends was in town, and we hit it off. Like, this girl was just cool as hell. I love her, and we'll probably be friends. And, she started talking about, I started talking about astrology, because most people love astrology. So it's a good icebreaker. But right away, she shut me down and she was like, oh, no, I don't believe in any of that. And we were sitting side by side, just like huddled together, just having a little White Claw at the pool. And I was like, cool, man. And she just looked at me, shocked. She was waiting for a fight. She thought I was going to just cram my opinion down her throat or something. And I was just like, cool, man. And she's like, I freaking love you. You're awesome. Like, you just don't even care if I don't believe what you believe. And I'm like, why would I? My path doesn't have to be your path. Also, too, like I said, people change their minds all the time. So be sure that you're giving people space. If your idea is really that great, people in the future might want to come and ask you questions later. Just, you don't have to change people's minds. It's not your job. So, and we talked for hours and hours, so it was really cool. But just find more space for you to connect with people and be authentic, but also read the room. Number 4, on how to have a polite conversation: manners. Having manners is everything. Manners are how we show people that we have respect for them. I feel like this is very quickly, in a disturbing way, becoming a lost art in our society. People do not have grace anymore. I'm going to make a whole nother video just about women in general and how the women in my generation have no grace. They're very crass. It's vulgar, the behavior of many people, but that's a whole nother topic. But manners are how we show people that we have respect for them, and then also how we teach the world to treat us. By our boundaries, our respect for ourselves, and our manners, we show people how to treat us. We are training them. Every interaction that you have with people, you are teaching them how you want to be respected, or whether or not you want to be. So maybe you're not even aware of that. Manners are important. They're everything. When I was growing up, table manners were a huge thing in my house. It was super annoying at the time, but we were never allowed to put our elbows on the table while we were eating. We had to, hands folded in lap before we started. We couldn't be excused without saying, may I please be excused? We got up, rinsed all of our plates. I had to clean all the kitchen after every meal. It was a lot. I had a lot of chores. I was like Cinderella growing up. And I'm glad we had all those table manners, because it taught me how to not be a heathen in life. And it's those things that really make long-lasting friendships and connections possible, whether you're building connections with colleagues, going on a job interview, like I said. It doesn't matter. These things can be applied in every aspect of life. I was out to dinner, actually, a dinner party the other night with friends, and the birthday guy didn't drink. So when I went there, and it was a seafood restaurant also, but when I went there, I didn't order a drink, and I knew that I couldn't have whatever was on the menu because I'm allergic to shellfish and most seafood. And, it would have been rude of me, I thought, to even bring that up. Even though I have a deadly shellfish allergy, I think it's just so rude and self-centered to make it about me. So I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, excuse me, it's about me right now. Even though I'm at a table with like 30 people, I would like the attention to be on me, please. Like I can't stand those people. I think it's so freaking rude and selfish. So I didn't say anything. I ordered a burger and fries, and I couldn't trust the food really because there's cross-contamination, whatever. Fries are probably fried in the same oil that all the shrimp is fried in. But that's not the point. The point was we were going out with friends to celebrate somebody else's birthday. It wasn't about me. So I didn't say a word, and then later on, other people at the table kind of started to order drinks. So I got up, went over to the bar, got a White Claw, poured it in a plastic glass or whatever, and went back to the table and just chilled. And it was cool, but like, I also just want to respect other people's space. That night wasn't about me. And nothing is more annoying to me when people just narcissistically make things about them all the time. I knew this lady down here who I had to cut out of my life because she was the biggest narcissist I ever met. But I knew this woman, and every time we would go out to eat, she would make this huge ordeal about her being allergic to gluten. I mean, telling everybody around her, and it was embarrassing. And a lot of the places we went, we would go to places I performed at, these beautiful high-end restaurants where I'm friends with everybody, the servers and the managers. And she would send stuff back, like if there was a crumb of bread near her, she would send the entire dish back, and it was embarrassing. And then, much to my shock and disbelief, I watched her one night inhale a gyro that was on a pita bread, like just scrape the meat off. And I'm just like, oh my God, what a vapid narcissist. What kind of person does that? And I see it all the time because narcissists have to make things about them all the time. So that is what you don't want to do. You want to have manners. You want to be respecting everybody's space. You don't want to make it all about you. So just make sure that you're always able to read the room and kind of gauge a situation for what is appropriate. Be polite. Have manners. It's not all about you, okay? Number 5, for having polite conversation. Keep it light and inclusive. Okay, like we've talked about, know your audience, but make sure that everybody's able to engage in whatever topic you're choosing, especially if you're around a group. If you're in a group of people, don't just single one person out and talk about an inside joke you guys shared 20 years ago. It's going to be uncomfortable and awkward for everyone just standing there if they cannot be included. You want to make sure that you're always engaging everybody and making the experience stimulating for everybody around you. Keep the conversation light. When you bring up a sad story or a heavy topic, it's not that you can't vent to people and say the truth about how you're feeling and tell what's really on your mind, but it's going to weigh the conversation down and probably steer it in a direction that you don't want it to go. For example, recently it was my mom's 1-year death anniversary, and I was out with other people, but it would have been inappropriate for me, I felt, to tell everyone at the table, hey, my mom's dead. You guys want to talk about it? Like that, it would just be awkward. And I don't want to burden anybody. I've always been more of like the suffer in silence type. And that doesn't mean that, you have to keep it in forever, but it's more appropriate for an intimate conversation with a close trusted friend or a close relative. You don't need to be blabbing your business, your sad, sad tale of woe to everybody who will listen to you. That's what a therapist is for. Look in the yellow pages. It's in poor form. So make sure that you're choosing conversation topics that everyone can engage in and not bumming the shit out of everybody at the table and depressing them. I knew this girl when I first moved down here, one of my neighbors I don't live there anymore, at a condo when I first moved here. And she was like the ultimate bummer. Just no matter what, just always had to be combative conversation, always had to be just like in attack mode or talking about something negative. And I was just, when I first moved down here, in a total whirlwind of energy because I was like, what the hell just happened? Like, I just uprooted my whole life. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anybody here. What the hell is actually going on? And she would just, anytime I would just want to come out and like just cross my eyes and just stare at a palm tree and have a cocktail, it would always just be combative, just attack. Let's talk about every controversy happening right now. I see you have an American flag on your car. Why is that? What are you doing? And it was just always like such abrasive energy. I was just like, leave me alone, you crazy troll, you. And yeah, you don't want that. You do not want that. I even had friends and family come down and visit, and I was like, dude, don't go to the pool. And they're like, what are you talking about? We're totally going to the pool. We're in Florida on vacation. And I was like, at your own risk. And sure enough, they came back just like kind of like war torn and tattered and shaking. And they're like, dude, that was awful. I'm like, yeah, I know. I told you I don't go out there anymore. So luckily I manifested a way better place and I'm out of there. But you never want that. You never want to be that person who's like talking about the negative in their life and how tired they are and, you know, all the negative topics. Like people, there's so much controversy going on right now. And I feel like people wear their trauma and their pain and their tiredness as like a badge of honor or something. Like people love to be victims. So make sure that you are always checking your motives and keeping the conversation light. You never want to freak anybody out or scare them off from ever wanting to be in your presence again. You don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. Very important 3 rules to follow real quick. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the 3 gates of speech, but there are 3 gates of speech that your words should be able to pass through before you are allowed to speak them. And they are, number 1, is it true? Is what I'm about to say true? If it's not, obviously don't say it. Number 2, is it necessary? Do I have to say this, or am I just a hot air balloon speaking nonsense because I like to hear myself talk? If so, then zip it up. And number 3, is this kind? Is it kind? If your words can pass through all 3 gates of speech, then you may speak. If not, shut your pie hole, okay? Just don't flap your jaw. A lot of what people say is unnecessary bullshit. And most people, we live in a very narcissistic time, you know, where people are just on social media, self-absorbed in their own content. We live in the age of the influencer and the TikTok tools. And unfortunately, most people are just vapid narcissists. And so make sure that you are not one of them. Make sure, and this is a good way to just ego check yourself. 3 gates of speech. Are my words true? Are they necessary? And are they kind? If they are all 3, then you may speak. If not, clam it up. Number 6, on how to have a polite conversation. Avoid gossip. Don't talk shit about people, okay? It just makes you look petty and sad, and it makes you look immature. It's rooted in jealousy and beyond that, fear. Whenever I see somebody talking shit about somebody, I just know that they're a very fearful person and they don't have a lot of self-pride and self-respect. You know, our words are very powerful. Our words create our destiny. As I speak, I create. That's what abracadabra means. Our words have actual magic. They carry a lot of weight. There's a lot of vibration, a lot of frequency behind what we say. And when you use words against somebody, you're using black magic. It's poison. And I don't want to put that poison into the universe. I've always been very tight-lipped anyway. Like, I don't repeat people's secrets. It's just a lot of people vent to me. I think because like intrinsically they know that they can trust me, and I've never been a blabbermouth. So a lot of people feel like they can share things with me, which is great. But I also expect the same in return. And I don't want to sit and listen to somebody else's negative speak. I try to keep the conversation positive. I try not to complain. No one wants to sit there and listen to somebody just complain about their life. If somebody does complain, because I'm a solutions person, I usually say, do you want sympathy or solutions? I can do both, but we're not just going to sit here and play the ain't it awful game. Like, oh, and then my back went out, and then my car broke down, and then my dog, you know, like lost a tooth and I don't know, I'm sorry, I have too much shit going on that is miraculous in my life. I'm not going to sit here and just listen to you rattle off about all the things. You stubbed your toe this morning. I'm so sorry that happened to you, but there's nothing I can do about it. So if you don't like your life, you got to change it. Don't complain and don't gossip. Nobody wants to listen to that. It makes you petty and jealous, and it's so shallow. It's demeaning. I feel like it's degrading to me. I personally don't even care enough to think about criticizing someone else's decisions, let alone gossiping about them behind their back. If I have a problem with you, coming right to the source and saying, how can we resolve this? Because I would like to move on. And I would like it to be resolved for the highest good of all. The highest good of all beings, so we can evolve and get back to doing miraculous shit. Can we have a yacht? I don't know. How do we get yachts? I don't know, but let's figure it out together. We're not going to get yachts if we just sit around talking smack about Sally all day. So I always go back to the Eleanor Roosevelt quote, who, that's a story for another time. I don't think she was a very good person anyways. But I like the quote, and it's that small minds discuss people, average minds discuss events, but great minds discuss ideas. Great minds discuss ideas, like how do we get yachts, okay? That's what I want to know, always. Going straight up to the east side, let's do it. You're not going to get there by talking shit about other people. And furthermore, Susan, I don't know if you guys realize this, but when you speak about jealousy of somebody else, when you are envious of them, you are unconsciously sending more energy that way. So you don't even know it, but you are actually taking away and reaffirming to the universe that I will never have that. They keep having that. So you are literally affirming, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy that you will always be in the have-not, and they will always be in the winner's circle. So stop it. Instead, if you see somebody that you envy, say, how do they get that? Can I have that? And the answer is yes, you can. So don't talk shit about people. Don't gossip. Don't be jealous. Don't be petty. Let's move on and all get yachts or whatever you want. Okay. Number 7 on how to have polite conversation. Be quiet and listen. Just listen. Listen more than you talk. I've always been more of an observer, and this is fantastic for me because it lets me know always what's going on. I can read people's body language and intuitively know how to give them what they need. I can read people because I'm not always constantly running off at the mouth. So I really listen. I pay attention to their words. I pay attention to their tone, to their demeanor, to their energy. Do their words align with what they say? That's going to save you a lot of time and energy in life. If you just pay attention, it will also give you clues on how to develop a better relationship with whoever you're conversing with. This comes in handy if you are, for example, going to ask for a raise from your boss. You're going to know exactly how they operate because you pay attention. You listen to what's important to them, what kind of work ethic they expect from you. I always just observe people. I listen to what they say. A good conversation should be a give and take and a good flow of energy and a balance. But also it really helps people, like they say in the book, The Celestine Prophecy, great book if you haven't read it. Everybody has something to teach you. Everybody has some wisdom to share with you or to pass on or to exchange. So it's your job to help them feel comfortable enough to share whatever wisdom, life lessons, whatever they have to teach you and share with you. It's your job to listen, get quiet, and also give them that reciprocating energy flow so it makes them easier to talk to you. Remember that a lot of people have social anxiety. A lot of people feel awkward in social settings. So give them space, smile at them, project that warmth, allow them to feel safe with you, and create a space so you guys can learn from each other. It's awesome. It's gonna be a good time, I promise. When you're able to get quiet and really listen and disengage your ego, it's going to disarm their ego, first of all, hopefully, unless they're a narcissist. But learn to listen like it's a martial art. learn to listen so hard that it's your full-time job. And whether you are with a friend or with somebody that you don't know that well, this is going to eliminate a lot of problems for you. Let's say you're going on a date. I've caught so many people in lies because I just listen so intently to them. And most of the time it's not even worth me bringing it up, if it's innocuous or something I can overlook, but I probably won't be good friends with that person. But if I was ever on a date, I listen to people so closely. I pay attention to every single thing that they're telling me and showing me. Sometimes it's not always what they say, it's what they're showing you with their nonverbals. And when you get quiet and you really observe them, you can pick up on those things that are imperceptible to others. I can easily sniff out a lie, or, even more important than that, I remember things like people's birthdays, which they love. It is so important to remember small details that people tell you, because it lets them know that you value them, that they are important to you. Like I bake for everyone's birthday. I have new neighbors here at my condo, and the gal told me it was her birthday on the 4th of July. So I made her Jell-O shots, and I brought them over, and she was like, "What? How did you know it was my birthday?" I'm like, "'Cause you told me when we met last week." Or one of my friends who told me the whole story of his confirmation name. And I remembered 3 years later, and he was just like, "Are you psychic? How did you know that?" I'm like, "No, because you told me and I listen. I will phone old friends for their birthdays. It's important. Hey, you're important to me. I love you." It means the world to people when you remember small details. When I talk to my bosses, I'm like, "How is your family? How are your children? How is the new pool going?" I remember to ask people questions because I listen. And this is going to be a life-changing event for you. It's also going to open you up to not just friendships, but new opportunities in your career, in your field, new connections, whatever you want. Like when I'm looking for a house or manifesting a new car or something, I'm always just listening and I'm honing in on new opportunities. And it's amazing. All the things that I've ever, moved up or climbed the social ladder with in life have been through connections that I have made, with friends, coworkers, everything important to me that's ever happened, I made through connecting, human connection. How magical is that? So this one's super important, learning how to listen. Like every other cornerstone of human advancement, I think that polite conversation should be rooted in the virtue and principles that align with truth, honesty, integrity, love. Love is the only thing that matters in life, really, And we're all learning how to get back to that and how to find it in ourselves and see it in other people. So I think that just the basic art of communicating is so underrated. And, when you really learn how to connect with other human beings, just think about this. Out of all the creatures on the planet, we are the only ones with the God-given gift of the word, the power of the word. And what are you using your word for? Are you using it to create chaos and cause havoc and disarray in people's lives? Or are you using it to really affect powerful change and change for yourself and growth and advancement and learning how to evolve and empower other people? So the way we use our word is so unbelievably important. I think it's important to just remember that we are all works in progress, and you can be a masterpiece and a work in progress all at the same time. So just remembering to honor and respect each other and respect each other's paths and each other's choices. And, we're all on our same path, on our paths to the same place. We're all leading back to oneness with the universe. Whatever you believe, we are all coming back to love. And that's the whole point. So just remember to be gentle, have grace, respect each other, and make connections wherever you can. Long story long, don't be a jerk. You always want to leave people feeling better than when you found them. I always want to leave a situation better than when I found it. So when I leave a group of people, you want them to say, my gosh, that was refreshing. Like, I can't wait to hang out with her again. You know, you don't want somebody like over there just like, just chewing their arm off, trying to get away from you. And I've definitely had people where they leave and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was like the worst experience of my life. Like, how did I end up here? I need a shower. I feel dirty. You don't want that. You want people to say, oh my gosh, like, I love her. I love him. Like, that was amazing. I can't wait to spend more time with them. They're a joy to be around. You always want to leave people feeling good, if you can. If you can't do that, then at least don't hurt them. So again, long story long, don't be a jerk. Be nice. Okay? I love you. Bye-bye.